Hello and welcome back. We're going to be continuing our discussion of how to use deep learning toolkits for natural language processing algorithms. But rather than teach you myself, I'm going to point you to some excellent videos by Python Engineer. Why am I not doing my own videos? I used to have my own videos on this subject, but they've grown out of date and I'm too lazy to record new videos. I'd rather be creating other lectures that talk more about the theory and the history. And Python Engineer has done such a perfect job creating videos that it's easier for me to send you in his direction rather than recreating my videos from scratch. Another minor thing is that my recording setup isn't as well suited for me typing code. My keyboard's too loud and I can't capture my face well when I'm typing on my loud keyboard, so I need to fix that eventually, but I can't do it right now. What I'm going to do instead is drop you into Python Engineer's excellent introduction, somewhat halfway through his playlist. You can go back and look at his other excellent videos if you want to get caught up, but this video will try to review some of the things that might be new if you're watching the selected videos for the first time. First, he uses some aspects of Python that you haven't seen yet in my code. And so one thing that you will see for the first time is the keyword iter. So this is really simple. It just creates an iterator from some object. And so this allows you to use a for loop and go through the object lazily. Another thing that Python Engineer uses is math.ceiling. So if you know the ceiling operator from mathematics, this should be very familiar to you. This just finds the smallest integer greater than or equal to the input. So for example, the ceiling of pi would be 4. And the ceiling of 3 would be 3. One thing that we haven't talked about before is using a random seed. Much of what we're doing has some randomness. So for example, when we do stochastic gradient descent, it's stochastic in that we always choose a random example. You can make this deterministic by giving Python the random seed that you want it to use. This is because random number generators on any classical computer are deterministic, and they typically use some seed to set the random state that they're going to use to generate the next pseudo-random number. And this allows you to create deterministic programs even when you're using Python's random number generator. If you've looked at my code, you'll see that I use old-fashioned C-style format strings. I realize that this shows that I am old and thus old-fashioned, and so I think Python Engineer is a little bit younger than I am, so he uses Python f-strings where you can explicitly say what variable you want to go into various slots in a string, and it formats them very nicely. So for example, you can say hello, name, you are age, and it fills in those parameters with variables that you've defined somewhere in your local scope. Another tool that Python Engineer uses in his programs are some functions from scikit-learn. So for example, he uses the train test split function. All this does is given some matrix X and labels Y, it splits that big collection of X and Y into a train set that you can build a model from and a test set that you can evaluate on. This is a handy helper function that does what you would expect it to do. So for example, if we create this X and we use train test split to break off X and Y into two separate pieces, you can see that the 0th example, which has X equal to 0, 1, 4, 5, and 6, 7 all go in the train fold, while examples 2, 3, and 8, 9 go into the test fold. One nice thing that the train test split function also does is it shuffles your inputs. And so sometimes your training sets might have some inherent order to them. This can screw up stochastic gradient descent, and if you do a shuffle when you create your folds, this removes any bias that might result from ordered data. Another sklearn utility function that Python Engineer uses is fit transform. Fit transform allows you to scale your feature values so that they all look like they come from a normal distribution. And not only from a normal distribution, but a normal distribution with mean, zero, and unit variance. The way that they do this is you take your training data, you compute your mean and standard deviation on your training data, and then for any feature value, it subtracts the mean of that feature and then divides by the standard deviation of that feature. And it does this independently for each dimension in your data set. Once you use the fit transform function, it has saved the mean and standard deviation so that for the test fold, you can use the fit function to apply the exact same transformation on your test data. And this is important because you don't want information to leak from your train fold to your test fold, and you could do that if, for example, you computed the mean and standard deviation on the entire data set and use that to do your transformation. So you want to first do your split to create your train and test fold, then do the fit transform only on the training set, and then apply that to your test set. Okay, that's, I think, all that you need to know to get ready to watch Python Engineers videos. So have fun, you're in good hands, and enjoy getting to know a little bit more about the nuts and bolts of Pytorch. If you want to see more videos like this, check the video description for the course that comes from the link down below. You can then see the context and the correct order for watching these videos. YouTube will gleefully show you stuff in the wrong order. If you want other people to see this video, provide a big gradient to the recommendation algorithm by clicking the like and subscribe button down below.